Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, 2021. It's episode 25, and this is 403 Sports Talk. I'm your host, Rahim Escalai. Today, we have some scores from the NBA, NHL, and MLB, and the Western Mass Sports section. Also, we have an NFL Draft Special, where I have broken down the top 10 linebackers in this upcoming NFL Draft, April 29th. So without further ado, let's get into it. In the NBA, we have the Brooklyn Nets over the Minnesota Timberwolves, 127-97. We have the Clippers beating the Pacers, 126-115. Atlanta beats Toronto 108-103. My Lakers beat Charlotte, 101-93. Miami tries but fails against the Phoenix Suns as Phoenix wins 106-86. Utah over OKC 106-96 as well, and Boston survives a scare against the Trailblazers as Jason Tatum knocks in the final basket to win the game. That's all for the NBA. NHL, we have the Rangers over the Devils 3-0. Boston beats Buffalo in a shootout 3-2. And Washington beats Philly 6-1. Florida over Dallas 3-2. Nashville whoops Tampa Bay 7-2. And Calgary beats Toronto by a score of 3-2 in the overtime. And that are your scores. Those are your scores for the NHL. Moving on to the MLB, it was a big day. Big night. Boston Red Sox beat the Minnesota Twins 4-2. Bobby Dalbec with two crucial doubles in that game to help Boston win. So shout out to Mr. Dalbec. Oakland over Arizona 7-5. The Mets beat Philly with a doubleheader. The first game 4-3. The second game 4-0. Also, another teams that played the doubleheaders were Seattle Mariners and the Baltimore Orioles. Seattle took the first game 4-3. Baltimore took the second game 7-6. Toronto over the Yankees 7-3. San Francisco Giants beat the Cincinnati Reds 7-6, and the Chicago Cubs beat the Milwaukee Brewers 3-2. Moving on to the late games, St. Louis Cardinals smashed the Washington Nationals 14-3. Miami Marlins destroy the Atlanta Braves 14-8. Detroit over the Houston Astros, who have lost 4 in a row, 8-2. And the final nightcap for baseball, Los Angeles Dodgers 7, Colorado Rockies 0. So, those are your MLB scores. An eventful night in sports. But now to the most important part of the show. Western Mass Sports. It's only Wednesday. I'm so hyped for Friday and football and stuff like that. But let's pump the brakes and I'll give you what I have. Girls volleyball, we have Central beating Renaissance 3-1. Turner's Falls over Mayhar 3-0. In girls soccer, Greenfield annihilates Athol 9-0. This is unheard of. I've never heard of a soccer score being that big. But shout out to the Greenfield girls winning 9-0. I wonder if that's a record. I'm going to look that up and I'll get back to you guys on that. Girls basketball, we have Hampshire over Southwick 56-10. And Munson beats Granby 56-28. Wow. 56-10 is crazy. Boys soccer, Pioneer Valley over Mohawk 3-2. And in boys basketball, Hampshire beats Southwick 61-37. And Granby beats Munson 51-49. Wow, that Granby-Munson game was pretty good. East Hampton beats Holyoke in boys swimming with a score of 12-0. Moving on to the final section of our show, we have an NFL Draft Special. I broke down the top 10 linebackers. I watched countless hours of film, reshoots of games to come up with this list. And it took me about a week. But I have it. We're going to go through it quick. I'm going to talk about the guys, my evaluation of them, and move on to the next one. So, without further ado, here we go. Cameron McGrone from Michigan. A I like the way he played this year. He's kind of like old school. If you would compare him to anybody, probably old school linebacker. Excuse me, maybe Urlacher, but just not with as much star power. A current linebacker who's very good against the run, Avery Wilson. He is, in my opinion, the best run-stopping linebacker in the NFL right now. So compare Cameron McGrone to him. He lacks speed. He lacks top-end quickness, top-end speed, and that showed in this film, at least to me, in coverage. It wasn't really that good. And what's concerning is you can't teach speed. He's great playing the run. You put him in there. I even saw a couple times where he played the 3 technique, and he was a linebacker. So that speaks to his running, his stopping the run. And I think he's going to be best Mike linebacker, and I see him getting drafted either in rounds 4 or 5. Number 9. I have 2 sleepers in this list. And here's one of them. Number 9, Isaiah McDuffie from Boston College. He's a sleeper because a lot of teams are going to pass on him as his size. He has great speed, great tackling. He's very athletic. A 4.51 40 for a linebacker is unheard of. He's great in coverage and plays the game very violently. I'm just confused as to his size, if he's going to play linebacker at the NFL level or not. That remains to be seen. He definitely has the size. He definitely has the speed and athleticism to do it and to cover the backs coming out into the flat. So it's going to be interesting to see where Isaiah McDuffie goes. I think, honestly, he's one of the best defenders here. A little raw, but coaching can fix that. Number 8, I have Dylan Moses from Alabama. And I know you're probably thinking, "Oh, this is a Bama kid. Why is he not projected first round?" He's in the 4th round, and honestly, on his film, it's kind of like the guy that you have a group project with in science, and the kid that just sits there and picks his nose and chews gum, still gets an A, and that's kind of how I feel about number 8, Dylan Moses. He's a Mike linebacker that just existed. He was well coached. And when he tore his ACL, and he really hasn't gotten back to form. I think if he can get back to who he was in 2018, I think it'll be beneficial, and he'll have a great NFL career. But 2020 was slow for him, and I think he's like a developmental player. You coach him up for a little bit, and you see what you get. But yeah, Dylan Moses just existed in that defense. He definitely wasn't a star. Moving on to number 7 out of LSU, 6'3", 231, another smaller linebacker who I like, Jabril Cox. He's a linebacker of his own. I can't really compare him to anyone else, and I like what he's done with his film in 2020. He's great in coverage. He's very smart. As I saw him actually calling a lot of the defense when he played weak side linebacker. So that speaks to his smarts and his NFL acumen. I think, as I said, he's fit to be a weak side linebacker in the NFL. He's not exactly the best athlete, but he's fast, and I gave him a grade of either the 3rd round or the 4th round. Number 6 on this list, some people in mocks have him at the 1st round, have him going in the 1st round towards the end. To a team like Tennessee or Pittsburgh. I'm not sure, but Nick Bolton out of Missouri is 5'11", 235. Another undersized linebacker. He's fast, undersized, very athletic, and has high upside the way he plays. I think he's an absolute star in coverage. I think he dissects the run plays very slow, and I noticed that he's not really a good run defender. But the linebacker that size, you can't really expect him to be. 5'11", 235 is a big safety. So it'll be interesting to see where Nick Bolton lines up when he gets to the NFL. Number 5 on my list of top 10 linebackers is my favorite on this list, Monty Rice from Georgia. He's 6 foot tall, 233 pounds. I have him going in round 2. And he's great in coverage. When he played Alabama, though he made a lot of mistakes, in that last game. A couple times when he dropped back in coverage, he ran stride for stride with Jalen Waddle. That says a lot. So before Jalen Waddle was hurt, he had his feet are rockets. So Monty Rice was staying with him. I love him in coverage. I love him against the run. Even though it's some scouts say it's suspect, he's great in coverage. And the only bad game I think he had, probably outside, he was okay in the Alabama game, but really I think the worst game he played was just like one out of his whole college career was against Florida, and Kyle Pitts tore him up. Kyle Pitts is Kyle Pitts. He says he's going to be the best tight end to ever play the game. Moving on to number 4, Jamin Davis out of Kentucky, 6'3", 234. I have him going in round number 2. His tape is superb. He's supreme athleticism. I think of Isaiah Simmons, who just came out of Clemson, I want to say like a year or two ago. He was able to cover Kyle Pitts when they played for Florida and locked him down. One of the only games that Kyle had a few catches for less than 100 yards. One thing I like about Monty Rice is that he covers players, not grass, and I think that's essential for a linebacker when we're talking about linebackers and zone defense. Moving on to number 3, Zaven Collins out of Tulsa, going in round 1 or round 2. I actually mock him going to the Tennessee Titans at 24 in the first round. Zaven Collins reminds me of Anthony Barr in coverage. He's not excuse me, he's not the fastest guy. He's a great athlete though, and he's more built like a DN, so he's a good blitzer. He's good on the line. He's good to play the 2 and the 3 technique. But he can be left on an island when it comes to coverage. That can be fixed with coaching, and I think he'll be great if he goes to Tennessee. He will definitely make that team better around like week 6, week 7. Number 2 on this list is definitely a first rounder who I've talked to people this week who consider this guy a top 10. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from Notre Dame. This guy he's not even 230 pounds, but the way he flies everywhere, I just don't understand. Safety, linebacker, it's definitely not a Mike linebacker. He's too small. Outside, I don't know. He's great. He's got rare speed that you can't teach. Speed's another attribute you can't teach at that level, at that position. It's a boom or bust guy. He's either going to have one of the best careers ever, or he's going to suck. And his knock is run coverage, run support. He needs to improve that, bulk up that body, and get that frame ready. Finally, last but not least, my number 1 linebacker who is coming in the 2021 NFL Draft, Micah Parsons out of Penn State. I have him going definitely in the top 10. I think he's going to go to the Denver Broncos. I think the Broncos pick at 9. His guy he runs a 4.3 640. That's unheard of for a linebacker. He's a freak athlete. I love the way he tackles. He's a wrap-up guy. That aspect of his game is very consistent. He's suspect against the run, but that can be coached. And he's a generational talent at this level. I really like what Micah Parsons can do. So there you have it, folks. That's my top 10 linebackers coming into the NFL Draft. And this concludes episode 25 of 413 Sports Talk. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. We are also on YouTube, and we have a growing following on Twitter as well. If I got anything wrong, if there was a fact wrong, if you disagreed with anything I said, please comment on this video or message me, and we will have it adjusted. Again, I am Raheem Escalay. This is 413 Sports Talk. I love you all and wish you all the best. Have a great day.